I welcome you, my dear friends, to the third Sunday of Advent, which is also called the Gaudete Sunday. The word Gaudete means rejoice. This theme of rejoicing on the third Sunday is appropriate because of the nearness of Christmas. Realizing that the coming of Christ is so close, the church invites us to rejoice. That St. Paul says, and I quote, "Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I say rejoice," unquote. Philippians chapter 4 verse 4. Our gospel text from John chapter 1 from verse 6 to 8 and 9 to 28 focuses on John the Baptist. The text describes him as one with the task of witnessing or testifying to the light. When the Jews wondered if he was the Christ, he firmly declared that he was not. Questioned further if he was Elijah or the prophet, he responded in the negative. Pressured with the question, "Who then are you?" his response was, and I quote, "I am as Isaiah prophesied, a voice of one that cries out in the desert, prepare the way for the Lord, make his path straight," unquote. Our theme is John, a model of integrity. Integrity is the quality of being honest. This is what we learn from John. At the time that his audience wondered if he was the Christ, three things stood out which can be helpful in our reflection. The first is witness to the light. The Bible is very clear by indicating that John was not the light. He came to witness or testify to the light so that everyone might believe through him. This means that John's task was to bear witness or to bear testimony to the light. It is as simple as that. Now, in performing this task, John needed to remain true to his specific task or identity, which he did. From our catechism, we learn that God created us so that we may know him, love him, and serve him. This is also our specific task on earth. However, the question remains whether we are true to this task. In life, we get caught up with so many things that we forget who we really are. When this happens, we lose the virtue of integrity. When we forget about our basic task of knowing, of loving, and serving God, and instead get consumed by the demands of our world, we lose the virtue of integrity. When we begin to find for ourselves other tasks outside of that which God has fashioned for us, we lose our integrity. When we begin to think that what we possess materially is actually that which defines us, we lose our virtue of integrity. When we think that what people say about us is actually what makes or make us, we lose our virtue of integrity. Like John, integrity is when we are true with ourselves and testify to the truth of who we are and what our task on earth is all about. John remained a witness to the light, for he was not the light. 2. A voice of one crying in the desert, prepare the way of the Lord. When the question was put to John about who he was, he told his audience about his task as one who prepares the way. John did not allow the wrong expectation of his audience to influence him negatively or to confuse him. He remained true to his identity, true to his task. There are times that we get tempted to project what we are not. Considering how John was held in high esteem by the people, if some of us were in the shoes of John, we would have projected a very high image of ourselves. In our attempt to look good in the eyes of people, we say all kinds of things. This reminds me of the story of this man who met a lady and introduced himself as the GM of his company. He knew very well that by using the title GM, the lady will understand that to mean general manager. yet he did. The lady later decided to pay him a surprise visit at his place of work, only to find him at a security post. Now, what was his defense? That by using the title GM, he meant gate man. Dear friends, in trying to please people or to look good in the eyes of people, we can project false images of ourselves, and at the end we deviate from our fundamental task. John was true to his duty as the voice of one in the desert. 3. I am not fit to undo the strap of his sandal. When the people further questioned John about why he was baptizing if he was not the Christ, nor Elijah, nor the prophet, his response was, I baptize with water. But standing among you, unknown to you, is one who is coming after me, and I'm not fit to undo the strap of his sandal. Undoing the strap of a sandal is a service that a slave or a servant renders to his master. Yet out of humility and respect, and at the same time acknowledging the immensity of the person and ministry of Christ, John describes himself as one who is unworthy even to occupy the office of a servant. This is integrity. We live in a world that integrity is in short supply. As we rejoice because of the nearness of the coming of Christ, may we prepare ourselves by revisiting the virtue of integrity, especially at our place of work, especially in our relationships, especially also in our dealings with people. John, a model of integrity. May God bless you. Amen.